Gist, who is practicing. He'll introduce himself.
Thank you, Lucy. Like Lucy has said, my name is Professor Peter Mungai Ngugi. I work for the University of Nairobi. I'm from the Department of Surgery. I think over time now people have seen me more than I knew, but I'm humbled to be before you. I was here a few years ago, and then we talked to men. That time when I came alone. I just drove here. That's why when I came back today, I got lost. But here I am today. So what I decided today is so that I don't ever get lost again when I come to Thome Church, I'd bring myself, my wife, so that I don't look lost anymore. And my wife is where I was seated. Esther, if you could stand up. That's my wife. And we are from PCAA Nairobi West Church. That is where we worship. And we went there. When did we go to that church? In 1989. So a lot of people were probably not very big that time. And over time, I've realized that life changes. Life changes a lot. In those days, I was Dr. Mungai, so that is a change. In those days, when I entered the church, the majority of the people were older than me. Now, when I enter the church, the majority of the people are younger than me. And that is the first blessing that you count. When you start counting your blessings, one of the blessings you're going to count is that now you're older than the most of the people you talk to. Why did Lucy want me to talk to you? She didn't tell me. So I'm going to choose what to talk to you about. And because I've been a teacher for now, from 1991 to now, I've been teaching at the University of Nairobi. So it's not yesterday. I think I was in the university, I was teaching at the university when Ruto was a student. So I'm old enough, right? So that's another blessing to count over time. Now, why did Lucy bring me here? And I think she wants us to tell you what you need to do to take care of yourself. And because this morning we are talking to both men and women, children and adults, I'll try and keep it to that level of understanding. And the one theme that was in the Presbyterian Church that time when I was here, I think was Hosea 8, which says, watu wangu wanapotea kwa kukosa kujua. And that still remains a big challenge for a lot of our people, maybe including myself, because we have priorities. We have priorities. What do you prioritize? Amongst the most important things you are expected to prioritize, like the preacher was talking about today, is your God. And sometimes we prioritize God for Sunday morning only. You will pay for it, right? If you prioritize him only for Sunday morning, so he's with you only on Sunday morning. So that's your priority. The next priority that we have is your health. And you prioritize your health once in a year. For those who do, sometimes you don't prioritize it at all, right? Then you prioritize your money, right? And money becomes your God. Like those people of the Israel, those people who are moving in the wilderness. And when every time the one thing you're thinking about is how to make money. And I've learned over time, the only thing that loses value from the beginning of your life to the end of your life is money. Money will forever lose money. Will forever lose life. The other thing that you now prioritize is your family, and that is given. You don't even have to think about it. And those are things that will disappear. So I will not talk about prioritizing God because that's the pastor's domain. is for the pastor to teach you how to prioritize God. And I was told, today my wife woke me up so that we pray. And the one thing we needed to do was to prioritize God. So if you learn how to prioritize God, then God will prioritize you. Is that true? Say amen. Now, if you prioritize your health, you will find that you change yourself. But then to prioritize your health, you need to know who you are. Even as a nation, we have not prioritized health. There was something called the Abuja Declaration. Have you heard of the Abuja Declaration? The Abuja Declaration was for governments of Africa to apportion 15% of their earnings to take care of the health of their people. I don't know whether Kenya prioritizes that. I don't know whether we spend 15% of what we earn for the health of our people. If we don't do that, then there'll be a challenge to the people of Kenya. There'll be deaths, and many people will not live to their full potential. Why am I going into that? The biggest killer we have in our country is non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases are those diseases that don't come out of an infection. Therefore, you cannot pass it from you to somebody else. Like you cannot pass cancer from you to somebody else. You cannot pass diabetes from you to somebody else. You cannot pass high blood pressure from you to somebody else. And the one thing that is known about non-communicable diseases is they tend to come because of the things you have done in your past. There are some of them that we arise from who you were born to be, or with the genes that you were born, but there are many of them that come because of the things you do. Unfortunately, the things that you do are cumulative. For instance, I'll mention one, not because I want to preach, I have no mandate to preach. If you take a lot of alcohol for 10 years, if you take, many units of alcohol every year for 10 years, your kidneys will fail. And one of the things I've done for this country is kidney transplantation. I lead an institution that trains surgeons for kidney transplantation. I'm a urologist, so I train people in neurology. And so if you take a lot of alcohol for 10 years, you will lose your kidneys in those 10 years. So if you're 25 and you have a binge every Friday, maybe increase that to 20 years. Chances are that in 25 years you'll have developed diabetes and your kidneys will fail, and then all the things you thought you would do when you become rich, when you look for the money you were looking for, you will not eat when you reach that age. All the things you prioritize, all the things you wanted to eat, the sweet things, the sugar will be withdrawn, the proteins will be withdrawn, and you'll become miserable. So how you prioritize that? So the non-communicable diseases are a big challenge, and a big challenge for our government, a big challenge for even the people in the Western countries. Then there is the next one that we need to think about, and that is cancers. I'm a researcher on cancer, and cancers, for instance, for men, there are not as many men here, but it's good for them to know. Cancer in Kenya has overtaken heart diseases in terms of killing people. There are more people dying of cancers than people dying of heart disease, the heart attacks. They're still important, but a lot of people are dying of cancers. And cancer care is very expensive. And every so often you hear of a funeral of somebody who needs to be buried because they had cancer. And you look at cancer, what is it that modern medicine has changed about cancer? The times when I was training in the UK, I found there were many people who had been treated for more than one cancer in their life. Meaning they developed one, it was eliminated, they got another one, it was eliminated, they got another one, it was eliminated. But what is the one important factor about cancer that we must know? The first one is knowing whether there is that cancer in your family, so that you eliminate the heredity, the things you got from your family, from your genes, from parents. So you need to know. So go asking the people, go finding out from your family and those you were born with, whether they had cancer. If somebody can give me a glass of water, because I talk with water. So, that you must know. The next thing you must be able to know about cancer is that early diagnosis is the only key to your being able to live to get another one. Because as you get one, means you're living longer and longer. About 2 days ago, today is Sunday, 2 days ago, on Friday, there is a relative of ours, a lady. I knew how she was a small girl. Now she died in her 40s, and she was being buried. And every day, every so often, people are being buried. Let me start with our ladies. Please go find out in your family whether there's somebody who died with something on the breast. Do we die from the breast? Do we die from the breast? Because you can cure it. You can take care of it. The majority of our people, of our ladies who get cancer of the breast, die because you come with a big lump, the size of my fist. If you come with a cancer this size of the breast, I assure you, it will kill you. We can do a lot of things for you, but it can kill you. If you come with a cancer of the breast that you can hold between your two fingers this way, you can be cured. So, the cure is in your hands, not the doctor's. I have a lady I operated during the days when I was young after training in surgery. In 1992, we removed her breast for cancer. She's still alive. She was in her 50s. She's in her 80s. So you can determine that. But don't wait. So who will tell you to look for your breast? It is yourself. Because Hosea 8 says, so please make sure you are not that person who doesn't know. And this does not exclude anybody. The next one, and I'll talk to men because I like talking about breast and breast and prostate together because they are related. The next one is prostate cancer. We've researched about prostate cancer in this country, and we know in Nairobi, the biggest cancer killer of men is prostate cancer. And we said that last time. We're still looking for it even today. Prostate cancer is the biggest killer of men. And if you are African, you develop it earlier. If you have a history of prostate cancer in your family, if you have one relative who has had it, if you don't have a relative who has had it just by being a black person, you have a 1 in 10 chance of developing cancer. So 1 in 10 men, for those who don't have a family relative. If you have a relative, that drops to 1 in 6. That's a huge change. So go find out in your families, do you have prostate cancer? If you have 2, your chances drop to 1 in 3. So 30% of them now will get prostate cancer. If you have 3 relatives, just look for it. You will find it. If you have 3 relatives who have had prostate cancer in your family, you are guaranteed of getting the prostate cancer. So please have health-seeking behavior, because the last thing you want to know is that you're dying of prostate cancer. And when you get it very early, somebody asked me on radio the other day, I think it was yesterday morning, and I told her, no, the Friday morning. She called me on my phone, and I said, yes. I think it was Radio Africa. Prostate cancer is a big killer for our men. In our part of the world, men As for our research now, we used to diagnose men at the age of 78. That was something we wrote with Professor Magoha about 15 years ago. It is now, we have improved, we are diagnosing people at the age of 68. That's what we have found, and we would like to bring it earlier. So we diagnose people much earlier. We have even 40-year-olds with prostate cancer. So the one thing that you want to do, take home no other message from me if you are a man or you have a relationship with a man, is at the age of 40, on the 40th birthday, take a PSA test. Most places about 3,000 shillings. Changieni huyo mtu mkiwa kwa nyumba yenu. Afanyiwe PSA at the age of 40. And you can be doing that every year, every 2 years after that. But after the age of 50, start doing it every 6 months. Because we can treat you, we can cure you. And that lady was asking me on radio yesterday morning, how much do you spend to cure prostate cancer at the age when you get it, when it is very early? 1 million shillings and it's gone. It's a lot of money, she said. I said, fine, try what happens when you diagnose it later. When you diagnose it later, it's still in the early stages, but a little bit more, you spend about 2 million shillings. If you diagnose it at stage 3, you spend 3 million shillings. After stage 3, we don't cure you, but you'll be spending 3 million shillings every year for the 5 or 6 years that you may remain alive. So the cost of getting it treated late is much more difficult. But our government did good. Some of us talked to our government earlier on, and we got what has now been removed, the National Hospital Insurance Fund, and we got it to treat prostate cancer and all the other cancers. And this has been going on for a long time. And then we changed to SHA, which is a great idea, but it's not as great as we would have wanted to be, if I can use a polite language. NHIF was treating men with prostate cancer for the entire year. Now SHA is treating you for 9 months. The year has been reduced by 3 months. So convince your legislators and whoever, even the girl who is in charge of it, the SHA, who was my student herself, Dr. Mwangangi, should get this message. Please take care of our people throughout the year. I've texted her the same. Let's not treat people for 9 months and leave them on their own, because I'm paying 18,000 shillings where I used to pay 3,000. So I'm imagining they have more funding. And the same applies to all other cancers. Cancer is going to be our biggest challenge. And yes, people will get the information. I'm talking to you so that you can get your cancer diagnosed earlier. But what will happen if you can't be treated because it is late? So our government will spend most of our time in getting some of those things done. I thought those were two. I don't know what to say. My time is over. Yes, looks like my time is over. But I thought I could pass those two messages. First of all, health-seeking behavior on your part, the taking care of the non-communicable diseases, and then you will have read the book of Hosea. And the whole country should read the book of Hosea 8 and educate all of us. We have enough doctors being trained. 10 years ago, we had no urologists. This country, we are training 10. The kidney disease will be cured by going to church. Thank you very much, and God bless you.